Hey guys, Sean from Invest to Live here. I saw a funny thing the other day watching TV about the need to really get out and vote around politics, right? It wasn't really necessarily about a presidential election or anything else for that matter. And I just was thinking about the fact that, we hear this constantly, the right to vote, the power to vote, get out there and sign up as quick as possible. I think it's great. You should always exercise your rights to vote no matter what the case is. But one thing you never hear about, and this is really pertinent to especially new investors, but not limited to new investors. Whether you've been in the stock market for a day and you own one share of one company, or you've been in the markets for 25, 35, 45 years and you own thousands and thousands of shares and you're ready for retirement, the one thing we never really talk about is, how exactly do these CEOs get the jobs? And it's really quite simple. There's a board of directors, and it's the part of the board of directors' jobs is to vote on a new CEO and to choose that CEO, whether that's through executive voting committees or search committees or things like that. Their job is quite literally to go and find new CEOs when necessary or make changes to those executives when needed. So you say to yourself, well, I own shares of company XYZ and I'm worried about them cutting the dividend, or I think the stock price should be higher, but it's not, or they've made some big gaffes in the market and have some real bad publicity. The reality is you actually have a vote and a say in that. And the way you do that is you vote with your shares for those directors and for other key things that are important to the board of directors and those meetings that happen every year at these companies. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, I only own one share. That's one small vote out of potentially hundreds of millions of votes. But the reality is that one vote means a lot, and you should always vote it. Even if you don't necessarily know what that vote is for or what that particular line item on the ballot is for, it's okay. You should still go in, read it, and just click abstain. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But this is important to understand that whether you're using E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, or anyone else, you're typically going to be getting these either in the mail or via email. It's really simple. You click a button in there and you just say vote, and you go through the list and understand a little bit about it. You can get some materials on it, and you can make an informed decision. So one thing that I get all the time, this is from E-Trade, I get these green folders in the mail. In this case, you'll see this is actually for a Santander. And it's as simple as this. It gives me some information on what's going on in the company, some background on the different options I have to vote for, and then I can simply mail this in and take the action I want to take. This is a bit of the old school way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and show you what an actual online vote looks like. And it's super simple. So you should really make sure you're doing this. So let me share my screen right here. And as you can see, when you go into that email and you click vote, it brings you this really simple to understand page. And in this case, what we're looking at is voting for directors. It's a one-year term pretty much all the time. And you go in and you look at each person and you understand, do you want to vote for them to remain in that seat, against it to look for a replacement, or I really don't know when I want to abstain. So my recommendation is that you do a little bit of research. It doesn't have to be any crazy amount. You don't have to read every single article that's out there about it. But at a minimum, you should really get a feel for, are these people doing a good job? Do I feel like they're the right person for the job? And it's a yes or no question. If you really don't have the time and you're really not sure, go ahead and click the abstain button, but still vote those shares, because it's important to let them know that they're running the company on your behalf from a board of directors perspective. And you want to make sure that those are your real dollars and your real future invest in that company. Let them know that you're reading what they're sending and you are paying attention. And it's okay to go with an abstain. Abstain just means you're not really sure. You can always change in the future. So some of the other things you might see on here once we get past all these different director nominations, things like we want to see executive compensation. Now, me personally, I want to understand how a CEO is paid. I want to know if it's tied to share price, to profitability, to some sort of future metric. Because if I believe that the right CEO is in that job, and I believe that she can hit her goals from a CEO's perspective, I want to keep that person in there and make sure they're being compensated in a way that appropriately pays them for hitting those success metrics. Some of the other things that are always coming in here are things like the appointment of an auditor, typically always an independent auditor, which means they don't work within the company. It's a third-party source that will come in, look at the books, make sure everything looks good. There's also other things like some stock ownership plans that might have to be revised, and then a number of other things as well. And quite simply, you click confirm vote. You might have to click it one more time, and guess what? You're now a voting shareholder. And you know what? That's pretty exciting. You decided to put your dollars where your mouth was and invest in your future, and now you actually get to have some say in that. And I think a lot of people aren't really aware, number one, of the fact that you can even do this, but number two, how easy it is. This doesn't require anything except opening up your email and literally clicking a few buttons, and now you've made an impact on that company. And enough people who only own a few shares each get together and all agree that something is wrong or something is right or they want to do something about it. That's a lot of power and something we should really think about yielding as small investors. So with the recent big drop in the market, one thing we might want to understand is if I had a particular stock that took a huge hit, I want to know, were they really prepared for this type of a loss? What do they have in place versus other companies in their industry sector or peer comparisons? Are they handling things right now from an appropriate perspective? Are they keeping employees on board? Are they still maintaining business? And of course, some places it's not an option. They have no choice. They might have to shut down. But that said, are there still contingency plans like digitization of their business to keep rolling forward? So I'll just summarize again that please vote your shares. You pay good hard-earned money to own them. You might be investing via dividends or growth or your retirement or getting FIRE, which is super important for early retirees. So get in there, know where your money is, know what it's doing, know if it's aligned to your goals as well, and put that out there and say, listen, I'm for it, I'm against it, or I'm here, but I'm not sure what I want to go with yet. And that's perfectly fine. So whether it's online or in the mail, please always vote your shares. It's really important. And have a great day.